Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Theorist, here with your host, JC Botero67. I just gotta say, I went shopping yesterday and I got these really cool earrings. It's kind of hard to see, but they're blue. They match my seal ring, which I'm wearing today. And the shirt was just like the perfect addition to it all, I guess. Really, I guess the shirt would be like the main attraction, and then the jewelry pieces are the side addition things. But anyway, I thought it was very Kun-like, and since I'm an avid fan of Kun Agro, I had to honor him in some way today. So, anyway, speaking of Kun, of course, the usual Tower of God review. So today we're focusing on Season 2, Episode 275. It starts off with the typical recap. So it shows that Rose got shot, she's falling, and then the hologram, which I like to call it, of Big Breeder starts to fizzle out for some reason. And he suddenly just like disappears. And so Baum and Andrassi now lay their focus on catching the falling Rose. So then the reason why Big Breeder was like fizzling out was because Rachel was actually bold enough to remove that VR piece from his face, his head, however the mechanism works. So anyway, I do want to focus a little bit on their interaction because it was really interesting to me. So he clearly looks upset, asking her, "How long have you been awake?" Because he's like gritting his teeth. He's like annoyed more than upset, I guess. And Rachel's like, "I just woke up. You were laughing so loudly." I mean, she just does not hold back. She does not have any, like, filter, I guess, which is great to see in her character. And she's also really, really wise. So, I mean, there are aspects of Rachel that I like. I don't appreciate the fact that she pushed Baum and is a bitch toward him sometimes, but she must have her reasons, which we're bound to find out at some point later on in the story. But anyway, we won't get into that. So then she's asking him, "What were you focused on? A game?" And so he gets nervous, like he doesn't know how to respond, which is really funny. And then he's like, "Yeah, let's just call it something like a game. Yeah, since it's basically a game to me, I'll explain everything later." So I know he's a piece of shit, but just that little humor bit, like, actually made him likable for a bit. So anyway, he then asks her, "Could you please give me back the VR device? It stopped at an important part." Which she just gets fed up and she's like, okay. She looks down at the thing and she's like, okay, this obviously means something to him. And her response is, "I don't want to." And then he's like freaking out. He's like, "Hurry up and give it to me." And she's like, "No, because you'll just keep playing it if I give it back to you." and she even tells him, "You shouldn't play video games much." And then he goes on to say that it's not a game, it's something very important. And then she's like, yeah, sure, it's a very important game, whatever. She also asks him, or not asks, she demands him to tell her what she's doing here, which he will eventually reveal later on. But anyway, again, we have like a panel here that focuses on the helmet. There you go. The VR helmet. And so she's like, okay, it seems really important to him, so I could totally use this. I mean, she's smart. She's smart. Then she goes on to ask, "Is this the hidden floor? It's totally different from what I thought." And she's about to open the door, and he's freaking out. Like, he does not want her to open it, which she ends up doing. And, like, you can see, like, it's outdoor light. And so I was thinking, I'm like, dude, like, you might plummet to your death. I mean, I don't know if there's any barrier. There is. It turns out. But at first I was like, dude, what if she just like falls just endlessly? And I'm like, I guess that would be karma because she pushed Baum twice. Okay? So could be karma, but it's not. Like I said, there was like a kind of a balcony thing. And so it's like a really fancy part of the hidden floor. So, you know, they're definitely in another area. They're nowhere near this village, is my thought. But there's something cool that gets revealed later on. So we'll touch base on that after we move on to other peeps here. So we're back with Battis and Rose. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So just to like sum up what's going on. Rose is in Battis's arms and he's trying to wake her up. The Wandering Minstrel, can't talk. The Wandering Minstrel, Baum, and Andrasi are also waiting for Rose to wake up. Kuhn soon approaches. He's worried about that injury that Baum received, which the injury actually healed up pretty quickly. And Kuhn's guess is that it's probably due to the thorn that Baum possesses. Baum goes on to ask him about the Grand Quest, and Kuhn responds that he trapped the bird in case something more dangerous were to happen. And he also mentions that the big monster disappeared when Big Breeder did. So they don't have to worry about this frickin' gigantic-ass monster, which is good for the time being. But anyway, back to Rose. When she does wake up, she does not remember Battis at all. Like, she asks him, oh, okay, you're my husband, but, like, I don't know you. Which is hard on Battis. Like, you can definitely tell in this picture here. And it gets even sadder because Battis goes on to talk about a song. And he says, I couldn't sing it. I forgot everything that I once praised. Since the day I first saw you, I was so blinded by you that I couldn't even write. You are the one who saved me, my love. You are a flower in my heart, my strong and beautiful rose. And then Rose asks, what kind of song is it? And I'm assuming that this is still her talking. And it says, it's embarrassing, but I really like it. Which I feel that was her reaction to those lines that Battis was reciting. I can't even talk today, guys. I'm sorry. So these lines that he was giving, I don't know if they were part of the song and it just kind of like came back to him at this moment, or if it's just something that he came up with on the fly, which is really nice, but it's really sad because even though Rose liked it, she passed away. So then in comes Coffee Addict to crash the party, which is not really a party. That's really horrible to say. But he does say that he needs to reveal to them all a secret of the hidden floor. So once they reach another area, he speaks up on it. And basically, when he first came to the hidden floor, I guess the big breeders weren't around just yet. Because things were different before the big breeders showed up. So once they did show up, things went opposite. So good was actually considered bad to the big breeders, and then bad was considered good. And then I don't know how it just got into Hansung's head, but he started to make the gauge go all black rather than all glittery. And it turns out that getting the gauge to be all black actually opened up the real Grand Quest. So this Grand Quest that Kuhn is on currently is actually a fake one that the big breeders assigned. And Wandering Minstrels are a part of the thing. Obviously, they are mind controlled by the big breeders. They get their memories erased, as we've seen in previous chapters, in that one flashback. But yeah, so the Wandering Minstrel's job is to keep an eye on, new coming heroes and just implant these lies to them. So the last part that is revealed by Hansung is that the big breeders are not just in another part of the hidden floor, but they are on a complete other data world, which will be explained by Big Breeder himself in the next part of this chapter. But yeah, it's really complicated stuff, and it's really interesting at once. So now we're back with Rachel and Big Breeder, and she's asking if this is the hidden floor. And he says, well, we could call this the hidden floor, but it's not a place that just anyone can enter. Because this place is the hidden floor. And he says, now that you've seen it, I'll have to explain. At least that's his, little thought bubble, if you will. But I'm just sitting here, I'm like, hidden floor. I'm like, is this some Inception shit going on in here? And it gets really cool in one part, because there's, this picture with these two mirrors facing each other, which I'll get to in a bit. But, like, I'm just like, whoa, it is like Inception, because it's like a dream within a dream. Now you have, like, a mirror image within a mirror image. Like, it's really crazy. So continuing on, Big Breeder says, you probably don't know this, but the hidden floor is a virtual world within a mirror, created by Zahard in order to preserve the version of himself from when he cleared the Hell Train. After that, young Zahard and his companions became Data and created a world of their own. But following that, many regulars ended up coming to this place. Then Zahard and his companions got tired of the increasing number of Data people within the mirror. They wanted to separate themselves from them. So someone on the outside who found out about that brought yet another mirror and had the two mirrors face each other, so that only Zahard and a few chosen people would be transferred to this place. So this place is the space where those few Data people live, and regulars from the outside can no longer enter. It's the hidden floor. So that gets Rachel thinking, so does that mean that somewhere here there's the Data of young Zahard? And then she asks aloud, excuse me, then where is that other hidden floor that you mentioned? Battis, my gosh. Big Breeder responds, it's the world in that screen that you called a game before. Ah, she responds. He goes on to say, that's the other hidden floor. I can't cross over to it directly from here, so I make a Data clone of myself to enter it. Well, it probably looked to you like I was playing a game, but my job is to manage the people in there, and prevent the people who cross over from the train from coming to this place. I confuse their senses and get them to embark on a useless journey, make sure they cannot find out about the existence of this world, and eliminate anyone who gets in the way. Even now, there are a few people in there, so I have to get back to that world. But what am I doing here? Asks Rachel. I'm just like one of them. And then Big Breeder's like, I'm not sure about that either. And so now we get revealed how exactly she got there. So here's an image to show you guys. Just a few minutes before they entered, some kind of mysterious power brought you to this place. I left you alone so that no one else would find out about you. And then Rachel thinks to herself, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but it definitely seems like I've been given a special chance. Which is kind of true. I mean, even in that one image that I had earlier, it's that one thing that she was given to by Gustang. So it's interesting to see that that thing had enough power to take her to the hidden floor and not go through the process that Kuhn and co are going through currently. I do have like a few theories, but we'll talk about that at the end of this review. So finishing up here, Big Breeder says, now that I've told you everything, give that back to me. And she says, no, I don't want to. And then he's like, why not? I told you everything. I have work to do. And then she says, listen, before, you said that you use a clone to cross over into the other hidden floor, right? And he's just like, his face. So then she asks, could you help me create a clone and enter that world like you? I want to go in there and meet some people from the train. And he's just kind of startled by this request that she's making. And that's where the chapter ends. So now that we've reached that point, I can go ahead and talk about my potential theories, thoughts about Rachel and like this whole situation. So first off, I want to point out Yura is still missing, Yuraha, because she was with Rachel. We clearly saw her when they were first entering the hidden floor that they were together. And now it turns out that who knows where this woman is, you know? According to Big Breeder, it seems that Rachel got there by herself with her power. So that would make sense. It would make sense that Rachel's own power would take her to this place. I still don't know the reasoning behind it, but it would make sense that her own power would only affect her. So I don't know about Yura again, but I guess we'll see later on. Continuing on with Rachel, though, I believe that she wouldn't have a sworn enemy to worry about since she didn't land in the hidden floor. She's in the hidden floor, which is going to be really confusing to talk about. But yeah, so I think it's unlikely for her to have a sworn enemy. But if she ends up having one, that would be interesting to see. Doubt it, though. And then when she was having thoughts about, oh, like, young Zahard is, like, somewhere here, like, what business does she have with young Zahard? Or even, like, the real Zahard, for that matter. And so then it got me thinking, could Zahard secretly be affiliated with Foog? Or Fug. I don't know how you guys like to pronounce that. I like to call it Foog. But anyway, I know I had looked up, like, the actual name for Foog, because it's more of like a... can't think of the word right now. This is killing me. Is it acronym? Don't know if that's a word for it, but yeah. So I know that the G stands for grace or something like that. So obviously that would be affiliated with Viol and, of course, his mother, Arlen, right? But there could still be something going on between that group and Zahard, be it on this hidden floor or in the actual tower universe, or both. And I guess that's something that we'll see later on. But yeah, it still has my mind all boggled up. Like, you know, what else can I come up with? What else am I questioning and all that? So there's a lot that we've learned from this chapter, and a lot to just think about moving forward, especially prediction-wise, which, speaking of which, I really want to hear your predictions, guys. So please comment below, or, you know, reach out to me via social media. Like, that works too, because honestly, I want to see what your guys' minds come up with. Granted, I could probably look at some of these comments, which I probably will in a bit, on the Webtoons comments. But yeah, so that was pretty much it. This review lasted way longer than I thought it would, but it was very enjoyable to do, and I hope you guys had a good time as well. So thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next week. Definitely looking forward to next chapter. As are you, I take it, of course. All right, have a great rest of your week, everybody. Peace.